Welcome to Fuji's Farmstead. I'm Jenny and this is my sweet dog Fuji, and we are here in San Diego, Southern California, Zone 10. I realized that my microphone wasn't working when I filmed this, so I'm just gonna voice over it and explain what is in the video. So this is the most exciting thing in the garden so far. It is the first time that we are able to actually harvest bananas that we can eat. So this little banana tree is a pup, which is a smaller like offshoot from the mother plant, which is right behind me, right over here. So I planted this about 2 years ago, and it's continuously sending off little banana plants. So what I've been doing is I've just been replanting them all throughout my yard and my garden. And what I really like about bananas is that they're really easy to grow here. They grow really quickly. And I just think that they look really beautiful in the landscaping. The only thing is they do take up quite a bit of water, so I've kind of scaled back on how many bananas I'm planting around the yard. But this little baby banana pup that I planted from the original mother is the first one that actually is providing bananas, and it's been years since I've been waiting for this, so this day was so exciting. It's March 14th, so we're just coming up on spring. And one thing that I learned about these bananas, because they did split a little bit, so I think I probably should have trimmed them or cut them off when they were green. So next time I get bananas, I'm going to try that and see if that helps at all. So over in this bed, I cleaned it out from the summer garden, and I just planted some seeds and some lettuces and some herbs. And this is what I'm most excited about. It's tarragon that I planted last year, and I grew it from seed. And this is my new favorite herb in the garden. I put this in everything. I put it in salad dressings. I make chicken with a tarragon cream sauce that someone had commented would be really delicious, and I've been making that quite frequently ever since I've had this herb in the garden, and it came back. So I guess it's probably like a perennial, I would assume. I've never grown tarragon in the garden because I haven't been able to find the tarragon that you would the variety that I like. I've seen Mexican tarragon in the nurseries with the little starts, but I have not found this tarragon. So I would highly recommend planting tarragon. And then I just kept it really easy this year, and I grabbed some tomato starts from Costco. They had a sale. It was a 3-pack for $11.99. And they're just a basic sun gold cherry and a beefsteak variety. And then they also had a little poblano pepper, which I had a really hard time starting those last year from seed. So these little beds are off to the races. And then I scattered some radish seeds right over in this area that are coming up. And so hopefully we'll have some radishes. And then we also have nasturtiums coming back from last year. So last year what I did is I grew nasturtiums, and when the plants were done or dying, I grabbed the plant and I scattered the plant and the seeds all throughout my garden, wherever I wanted them to grow. And since we've gotten all of this rain lately, I see all these little baby nasturtium plants, which is so exciting because they are just so beautiful. They're edible. They've got really pretty flowers, and I just love seeing them in my garden. And if they can come up for free, and I didn't have to do much work, then that is even better. I have my citrus trees right back over here, and those are pretty much done for the season. There's a few left on there, but it's more of a winter crop. And over here, I've got my beautiful apples, and look at these beautiful blooms. They look like cherry blossoms. They're just really pretty and delicate, and they're all over my trees right now. So this is a time of the year that I really enjoy, when everything is just waking up from sleeping all winter long, and seeing the first sign of spring and summer and the harvest that we're gonna have here soon. And then Fuji's over here. This tree has a bunch of shoots, and then we've got more bananas over here and more banana pups growing, and it's kind of making like a little bit of a hedge in this area, but it doesn't shade out my apple trees too much. So um, I'm really in love with these bananas. It's just the water situation that I need to sort out because it's really expensive to water all these trees. This over here is a fruit cocktail tree, and it's got 4 different types of fruits on it: a nectarine, a plum, a peach, and another peach. I think 2 peaches. So these have really beautiful flowers as well. And now the sun is starting to set later in the day because we just hit daylight savings time. So we're able to stay outside in the garden longer. And then we've got one last Ruby Supreme guava over here. And it's my favorite tree in the yard. It's got delicious fruit, and it's pink on the inside and yellow on the outside. And then over here we've got our passion fruit, which has been producing all winter long, which that's never happened for me in the past. This is the first season where I've actually been eating fruit in the winter from the passion fruit. So I don't know if that's normal or if it's why that is, but I'm hoping to get more and more passion fruit because we just love it here. And then over here we've got a little baby avocado, our first little avocado on this tree, so that is very exciting. And then this is a tiger stripe fig, and it's starting to wake up, and I'm seeing a bunch of new leaf growth on it. And this one is a black mission fig, so it's just a typical fig, and they're both very delicious. Another avocado tree right over here, and this one is a Santa Rosa plum, and I don't see any leaves yet, so hopefully this tree is still alive and maybe we'll get some fruit this summer. I haven't gotten any fruit so far from the the Santa Rosa plum. And then this is a California native that has these really pretty purple flowers, and I just love this plant. I love the silvery foliage and then the little flowers that bloom. Over here, we've got some stock flowers that I planted last year, and I thought they were more like a one and done, but I don't know if they've just kind of been hanging out there. So I think that those are really pretty and a little bonus from last year. And then this is our pink lemonade lemon. I haven't gotten any fruit, but looks like there's a little baby fruit on here, so we'll keep you posted on what happens with the pink lemonade lemon. I'm very excited about that one. And then coming around here, this is our pink jasmine espalier, and all of the flowers are starting to open up. So that's always very exciting. I just trained it along my wall in this diamond pattern, and I think it's really pretty, but it does go a little crazy. It grows very vigorously, and I've had to trim it a couple times, and so you can see there's like some dead on it. But these are calla lilies that I just dug up from my neighbor's or my friend's yard, and I transplanted them in this area. And these are hellebores, which are really pretty winter blooming flowers. And I just think they're really cute. They kind of face down, and it's just nice to have some pretty color in the winter. And then over here we've got some more calla lilies, and this is a breath of heaven, which is, I think, really pretty. I have never seen it this full and with these many like purple flowers, so I really like that plant. And then in this area, I've got some drought tolerant plants. This is a Jerusalem sage, and it's also, I believe, a California native, but it's supposed to take a little bit less water, which is what I've been focusing on because the water is so expensive. So I was trying to do some plants that don't require quite as much water, and they are starting to bloom, and they are starting to look so pretty. Over here, I planted some foxglove last year that I started from seed, and they didn't bloom, but hopefully this is the year that they're going to bloom. I believe that they do take 2 years to get some flowers, so hopefully. And this is a debutante camellia. And look how pretty the little ruffly pink flowers are. I love those. And that's also something that um, that blooms in the winter months. And then over here, oh, this is stinging nettle. It's actually a weed. And since we've gotten this rain, it's been popping up. But you can actually use this for tea and for fertilizer. So I stopped digging these up when I do my weeding, and I just kind of let them grow and hang out. And then we also have nasturtiums that I just sprinkled over here. And it's just so rewarding to have those come up and not have to do anything. So I'm very excited. I hope that the nasturtiums just kind of like take over like a weed in my in my yard instead of the weeds taking over. So I wouldn't mind that. And then there was an artichoke back there as well. And then we're coming around to our little pepper and eggplant forest. This is something that I did last year because I had so many extra pepper plants that I started from seed. So this soil is not ideal. It's very rocky, and I just put all the extra ones over here to see what would happen. And it actually did really good. I got a lot of peppers, and these are actually California poppies. I sprinkled a bunch of wildflower seeds um, all over, really, but these ones are coming up right now, and it's just like this really gorgeous orange color. And I've got a bunch of them up there on that hill, and last year that hill was just completely full with orange flowers. So I hope that happens again this year. And then over here, we've got our Eden climbing rose that's starting to bloom. Very excited about this. It's a gorgeous flower, and it did bloom for us last year, so it's getting a head start. And these are our iceberg roses. I trimmed these way back in the winter time, and they look so much better when you trim them back and take all the leaves off. They just grow back really like green and glossy. And then these are volunteer sunflowers from last year. I had sunflowers in this area, and I did the same thing with the nasturtiums. I just threw the dead plants and the seed heads everywhere, hoping that the next season when it rained, they would come back for us. So I'm just working on doing things a little bit easier this year and trying to kind of use what I have. And this is actually the nasturtiums with their flowers. So these ones have been in here for a little bit longer. And then this is very exciting. I've got some dahlias that I planted from Costco, just a bunch of bulbs, and I just want this whole area to be covered in dahlias. So I'm very excited to see that they are starting to grow, and I'm hoping that they all come up. So I labeled all of these dahlias with the variety from Costco so that I would know what they are and be able to reference back to them. I've been trying to get better with the labeling. It's just one of those things where it's just not that fun to do. But I'm trying hard this year to just get a little bit better and take the extra time to know what we've got. And then I've got some seeds that I started outside. This year I haven't done anything with the grow lights because I've had so many other things going on and projects. So the theme for this year is easy and let's use what we have. This is actually asparagus I planted a few years ago, and you're not supposed to harvest it for, I believe, 2 years. And so I think that this is probably on almost its third year, and I've gotten like a couple little spears, but I don't know if this is going to be the year or we're going to have to wait until next year to get some asparagus. But I'm excited to see that. And then these are just potatoes that are growing back from last year. I pulled all of them, but they will not quit. So we're just going to have potatoes and dahlias in the garden, and I don't think that they're ever going to maybe leave, which is fine. I like using, kind of what we've got. So and then this is, we've got some strawberries over here from last year, so hopefully those come back and it'll be like a little bit of a ground cover in this area. And then this is our little plumbago hedge, and it has the most beautiful blue flowers. They kind of look like hydrangeas to me, but they're really low maintenance and they grow really well here. So I really love how it's covering this like deck area because it just kind of looked a little bit ugly. You know, it was just the deck and then underneath the house over here. So I really like how these are filling in. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you in the next video.